Today we're going to talk about 3 photographs with the most tragic backstories. We post new stories every Tuesday and Friday, so stay tuned. On May 24, 2016, in the bustling city of Weihai, Liaoning Province, China, a middle-aged businessman named Jia Lijun began his day with a palpable sense of excitement. Unlike many of his peers who would spend their leisure time in front of the television, Jia had a different passion. He loved visiting zoos. On this particular day, Jia's enthusiasm was heightened, for he had planned a special visit to the Yeshanko Wildlife Zoo. Though there were several zoos closer to his home, Yeshanko held a special place in his heart. The reason was because this particular zoo was home to a magnificent walrus named Duan, an animal that had fascinated Jia for as long as he could remember. Walruses are large marine mammals notable for their tusks and whiskers, predominantly found in the Arctic seas. Their diet primarily consists of invertebrates like clams and mollusks, making them non-vegetarian. Generally, walruses are not known to be aggressive towards humans and tend to avoid human interaction in the wild. However, they can be unpredictable, especially if threatened or in unfamiliar situations. Jia's visits to the Yeshanko Wildlife Zoo had become a cherished routine, and each time, his fascination with the walrus grew. Watching the interactions between the Duan and its handler was a highlight for him. He admired the way the handler managed to feed and care for the massive creature, which weighed nearly 1.5 tons. The relationship between the walrus and its handler also intrigued Jia. He saw in their interactions a bond that spoke of trust and understanding. On this fateful day, Jia arrived at the Yeshanko Wildlife Zoo with a specific goal in mind. This wasn't just another visit to admire the walrus from a distance. He intended to take a step further. Inspired by the countless times he had observed the handler interact with the walrus, Jia felt a strong desire to form a personal bond with this gentle giant. In his mind, the plan was simple, yet profound. He would get close to the walrus, much like the handler did, and capture a selfie that would crystallize his newfound friendship. Jia's confidence stemmed from the numerous occasions he had watched the handler work with the walrus and believed he could replicate this bond. Jia carefully chose a time when he knew the zookeeper would not be around. He had been to the zoo so many times that he knew the layout of the walrus enclosure. He had a clear idea in his mind about how he would enter without being noticed. On reaching the enclosure, Jia saw the Duan lounging in the sun next to the water pool, looking calm and relaxed. This was the moment he had been waiting for. Getting into the enclosure turned out to be easier than he had anticipated. Once inside, Jia moved slowly towards the walrus. He remembered how the handler approached the animal, with gentle, measured steps, always careful not to startle it. Jia tried to mimic this approach, inching closer to the walrus, his heart pounding with excitement and a bit of nervousness. Before approaching the walrus, he had informed his friend Wu of his plans and promised to send a video of his encounter. As Jia sat down next to the walrus and took out his phone for a selfie, the situation seemed completely normal. But in a tragic turn of events, Jia's adventure took a horrifying turn. Unaware of the imminent danger, Jia had his back to the walrus while taking the selfie. Suddenly, the walrus, possibly perceiving Jia's actions as an invitation to play, grabbed him from behind and pulled him into the pool. The walrus's playful intent quickly became a life-threatening situation due to its enormous strength. Jia struggled to free himself from the walrus's powerful grip, but the animal, unaware of the harm it was causing, tossed him around in the water like a mere toy. At this critical moment, the zookeeper returned to the scene, only to witness the terrifying spectacle. In a desperate attempt to save Jia, the zookeeper immediately jumped inside the pool. However, this intervention led to an even more dire outcome. The walrus, possibly perceiving the zookeeper's actions as another playmate, grabbed both men and held them in a tight embrace, dragging them underwater. Tragically, by the time help arrived, it was too late. Both Jia and the zookeeper had drowned. The incident at the Yeshanko Wildlife Zoo involving Gia and the walrus sparked significant public debate and criticism, especially concerning the zoo's safety measures. The lack of adequate safety barriers led to questions about the zoo's responsibility in preventing such incidents. Despite the incident, the walrus attraction at the zoo remained open to the public. The zoo took responsibility for the tragic event and compensated Gia's family with 900,000 yuan. Thank you for watching this video. For more content like this, stay tuned and subscribe to our channel. Stay safe, and until the next time.